you guys know that we've looked at a number of clips of people who are just, overtly racist, whether it's news anchors or otherwise, and trying to claim that, well, Ukrainian refugees, Ukrainians in general, they're different. They're white, they're civilized, they're Europeans. Those guys matter, right? That's what they say. Let me show you another instance of this kind of disgusting racism, xenophobia, ignorance, whatever you want to call it, on full display. And this was on CNN. Let's watch and then we'll discuss. Again, this is Julia Eoff.
It's one thing for sarin gas. It's one thing for sarin gas to be used on people in faraway Syria who are Muslim and who are of a different culture. What is Europe going to do when it's on European soil, done to Europeans? Are they going to intervene? Are they going to keep standing back? And if they do intervene, how far are they willing to go?
Whoa. Okay, what was that? I have so much to say. I don't even know where to begin. Hold on a second. What? What do you mean it's one thing for sarin gas to be used on people in Syria who are Muslim? Wow, God, where do we begin with this? Ya Allah, where do we begin with this? First of all, how do you know they're Muslim? I'm half Syrian. I'm born in Damascus. My family on my Syrian side are Christian. 10% of Syrians are Christian. Christianity comes from Syria, not New York, not Ukraine, not Europe. Syria and Palestine, that is the only place forever and a day that Christianity came from. And you can never change that. That is a fact. It's a historical fact. So already this ignorance. And then, of course, you have Palestinians, Armenians, Kurds, Druze, Jews, Shia, Sunni, Alawi, Assyrians. I mean, the list is endless. Bedouins. You have a million ethnicities and religions in Syria. That's number one. Number two, let's say that Syria was 100% Muslim, okay? How the hell does that excuse this kind of talk that, it's one thing for Muslims over there in Syria to get hit with sarin gas, but when it happens to white people in Europe and Ukraine, then we got to give a shit. Oh, wow. I don't even know where to begin with this one. Oh, she's really a treat, huh? What a gem this person is. And then of a different culture. I said, what does that mean, different culture? A different culture? Really? So I'm guessing the sarin that you're alluding to differentiates between cultures. Just chemical weapons just before they're about to kill people. They're like, hold up a second. What language do you speak? What religion are you? Wow, you're really a treat, aren't you? Aren't you? And then, of course, there's the whole point. What is this person alluding to? She's alluding to Bashar al-Assad allegedly gassing his own people, right? We keep hearing this. And this is astonishing to me because my understanding from the United States and Russia and the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons is they dismantled Syria's chemical weapons program. It's not me saying that. The BBC said that. They said that. Russia and the United States and the OPCW. They worked together in 2013, 2014, and they completely destroyed any chemical weapons in Syria. So again, which attack are you talking about? Are you saying the one in Duma? I'm assuming that's the one you're talking about. Again, that one itself completely disproven. I know a lot of people like to look at the scientific data, which is great. I'm glad we have those documents from WikiLeaks, which show you internally in the OPCW how the scientists who went to investigate in Syria, they couldn't find any victims with symptoms of a chemical attack. They couldn't find, when they did the ballistics, they saw that this canister had been manually placed there. It wasn't dropped from an aircraft like they claimed. But even without that, you don't need all of this to know that it's bullshit, because I've shown you the map of Operation Damascus Steel. The Syrian Arab army was trying to take back. They started with Jobar, which is a district in Damascus, and then Jobar leads out to Ghouta, which is kind of like the suburbs of Damascus. It's all farms and green. And then in Ghouta, you have the town of Duma. That was the last thing. So in the span of 2 months, from February 2018 to April 2018, the Syrian army has succeeded in taking back Jobar. They've taken back Ghouta. And the last thing, they've taken Duma. Jaish al-Islam has already surrendered. And you're telling me the day they win the battle, they just randomly decide to drop some chemical weapons on civilians? I mean, you gotta be such an incompetent fucking person or politician or general to do that. I've never heard of any battle in my life where someone decided to use chemical weapons when they were winning the day they won. I've never heard of that. And you expect me to believe that crock of shit? Again, we don't even need the OPCW or WikiLeaks stuff to deduce that it's a bunch of BS. How convenient, right when the rebels are losing, the rebels, right? More like foreign-backed terrorists. The day they're losing, all of a sudden, Bashar al-Assad does the one thing that would guarantee them air support from France, the UK, and the US. How convenient, man. Bashar al-Assad must be really working with the rebels then, if that's the case, because he just did them a huge favor. Incredible. You are really something. The only way that you can believe this crap is if you listen to Western mainstream media and do not have access to a map, because anyone with a brain could deduce that is nonsense. So again, just going back to this racist piece of work over here, this really fine individual who thinks that it's one thing for sarin gas to be used on people in faraway Syria who are Muslim and who are of a different culture. And then she says, what is Europe going to do when it's on European soil?
What is Europe? It's one thing for sarin gas to be used on people in faraway Syria who are Muslim and who are of a different culture. What is Europe going to do when it's on European soil, done to Europeans? Are they going to intervene? Are they going to keep standing back? And if they do intervene, how far are they willing to go?
Again, just to tell you, NATO intervened in Syria. So that also doesn't make sense. Intervened is, again, putting it mildly. They illegally bombed Syria. Illegally or otherwise, they bombed Syria. They're not allowed to do that. They attacked Syria. Now, this person, Julia over here, she actually responded on Twitter to all of this. And look what she says over here, okay? She says that, quote, "This is the full segment. As you can see, I'm describing NATO's logic, not my own. From the very beginning of this war, I've been calling out the racist, Islamophobic double standards in the coverage and will continue to do so." Okay, so guess what? I watched the full segment, the 7-minute segment, not once, not twice, 3 times. And I could not find any part that was redeeming. I have no clue what she's talking about. She says that she was describing NATO's logic and that this is taken out of context. It wasn't taken out of context because I watched the whole damn thing several times. And I'm going to show you the transcript over here because the link that she posted, take a look, it doesn't work anymore. But I've watched the full thing. If you click on the full segment that she posted, you get the message that we're sorry this clip has exceeded its playback count. I'm sure it's online. But anyway, I have the transcript, so we don't need the clip. We can just read the transcript. Someone posted it underneath. Let's take a look. So basically, she was being asked if that is where this is headed in this week before the potential NATO meeting, how does that ramp up the pressure on NATO countries to do something? Does it change the equation? And then Julia responds, "I fear that just right now it doesn't yet. I think NATO is still going to stay on the sidelines of this precisely because they don't want a military confrontation with Russia. It's a thing that everybody's been trying assiduously to avoid." And then, of course, here she starts talking about Syria underneath. And again, I'm putting the transcript up for you. I cannot find anything redeeming about that. If she was really talking about NATO's logic, she didn't make that clear. I'm sorry, guys. She did not make that clear, and it sounds like that's her logic, and she is saying that. And again, the fact that she's saying that, sarin gas is being used, who's using these chemical weapons? It's the rebels who are using them, so they can justify NATO coming in and helping them. A donkey could have figured that out. Again, no offense to donkeys, comparing them to Julia over here. But, this is ridiculous. And the fact that she's saying that, we know whose side she's on. We know she's peddling that NATO propaganda. And she thinks that, there were actual chemical attacks. These people, they really do look at Syrians as inferior. They look at anyone who's outside Europe as different. And again, like that by itself is offensive enough. But the fact that they try to claim Christianity, like, go fuck yourself. Christianity didn't start in Ukraine. It didn't start in Europe. It started in Syria. Never fucking forget that. So on top of being racist, they just show how pig shit ignorant they are, how utterly stupid they are. Again, I've shown you on the channel before Syria's Christian history. The roots of Christianity are in Syria. That's where St. Peter, St. Paul, they exported Christianity. They took Christianity with them to spread it to India, to Rome, to Europe, to the rest of the world. It spread from Syria. You know, St. Paul, when he was being persecuted by the Romans, he was lowered in this basket. That's in Damascus. Straight Street, where Paul is converted to Christianity because Jesus appears to him. That's in Straight Street, in Bab Shari, in Damascus, in the old city. And then he went to the Hananiah house, which is just in the next street. That's in Damascus. It's in Syria. Like this is basic Christian theology. This is the fundamentals. How do you not know this? How stupid are you? Yeah, it's incredible to me. And even if it weren't true, like even if you know, leave Christianity aside for a moment. Like how do you speak about Muslims like that? What does it mean that they're Muslim? The chemical weapons work differently. You know, they're more aggressive on white people. What is your logic? I don't understand this. Do you care about civilians or you don't care about civilians? You make up your mind. Why are you discriminating on their religion or their skin color? The Refugee Convention doesn't care what color you are. It doesn't say anything about that. So it's really disgusting. And they really show how, in addition to their racist, their xenophobic ignorance, they are also historically and theologically illiterate. It's incredible to watch.